Would you believe me if I told you one dog lived to 31 years old? There's a Central Park gathering that may involve a lot of opinions, and Kuki may be acting out. Details coming up on Cookie's news desk.
Welcome to the Shihtz Show, your emotional pod. Welcome to the Shihtz Show, your emotional pod.
Welcome back to the Shihtz Show. I'm Cookie's butler, Daisy Boss, and this is a podcast about everyday life with a Shih Tzu who sits like a king at the center of my life. So, speaking of longevity, there was a dog named Bobby who lived to 31 years and 165 days. 31 years! He lived in a small village in Portugal, and for a while, he was considered the oldest dog ever recorded, which is incredible and also slightly unsettling because when you think about it, that's multiple lifetimes in dog years. This was long before any of the newer longevity research we've been hearing about, like the LOY002 pill I mentioned in episode 2. So, no experimental treatments, no cutting edge science, just a village, a routine, and a very long life. Cookie's reaction? Location matters, which is interesting because we may be testing that theory ourselves very soon. And in Brazil, a 91-year-old woman recently celebrated her birthday surrounded by her 10 dogs, which honestly feels like a very strong life decision. 10 dogs at 91. There's something about that just feels like a life well lived. And in community news, if you're in New York, there's a Central Park dog walk happening on May 17th in collaboration with the Doggist, which honestly sounds like a lot of personalities in one place. Cookie has not confirmed attendance, but I suspect he would have notes. That concludes this week's updates from the Shihtz Show newsroom. A small confession. Sometimes Cookie gets upset, and when he does, he lets me know. Not dramatically, not loudly, but very specifically. There have been moments when I've come home and discovered a small, deliberate protest, left behind, strategically placed, and inevitably I step on it. And in that moment, I always have the same thought. This was not random, this was messaging. Because dog people know sometimes behavior isn't about the action, it's about the communication. And Shih Tzus, in particular, have a way of expressing exactly how they feel without ever raising their voice. So I've started asking myself, what did I do? Was I late? Did I leave too long? Did I fail to meet expectations? Because with Cookie, there are expectations. And when they're not met, there are consequences. And honestly, I respect the clarity. And now, the edit, where Cookie weighs in on matters of taste and standards. This week's It moment, staying in, as an act of rain refusal. Because if there's one thing Cookie does not do, participating in rainy weather, the moment it's gray or damp or even slightly questionable, he opts out completely. No resistance, no drama, just a quiet decision that this is not the day. And I've realized this isn't stubbornness, it's standards. Conditions matter, and if they're not right, you don't engage. Cookie is consistent. Rain is not part of the experience. And on that note, stay curious. Don't underestimate a Shih Tzu with opinions. We'll be back next Tuesday.